Hello, everyone. It's your host with the most, Benjamin Dutil, with the Horror Heathen YouTube channel and the South Jersey Horror Podcast. Welcome back to another episode of this great and fantastic, whatever you want to call this shit show chronicles. I don't know. Just give us a name, whatever you want to call it. I don't care what you want to call it. Anyway, I have a very special guest, Wes Robinson, who plays
Ooh,
Lane
ooh.
from Blair Witch 2016, the newest rendition of the movie, which I absolutely love because I didn't like Book of Shadows. I think it was just a horror movie, but this is my opinion. So,
Thanks, man. I'm glad you liked it.
but here we go. I mean, everyone give a warm welcome to Wes. Thank you for joining me today. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate it.
No, man, a pleasure's all mine, dude. I mean, and that was actually very ecstatic when you said you come on the show. I was very happy because I am a huge fan of found footage movies. I don't care what anyone says. I love found footage. I mean, I think my gateway movie was The Taking of Deborah Logan. So that was
Yeah.
my favorite. That was my gateway thing too,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I was actually able to interview Jill Larson like a month after that movie came out. So it
And
was
you were a
not a
fan, you
month
were a
after.
huge fan when you first saw it, and then you got to interview her. That's cool.
Yeah, well, not a month after. It was like a month after I watched the movie. I got reached out to her publicist, and I was very happy because she the whole movie's focused on her. So anyway, enough about my shit. So we're here to talk about you today about your role as Lane in Blair Witch. Jesus Christ, dude, it's a good movie. I don't care what anyone
Thank
says.
you, buddy. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
I love how they actually showed the monster at the end of the movie. I'm like,
Yeah.
finally, they put something in the movie so everyone gets an idea of. I don't know if it's like the actual Blair Witch or just
I
something.
think the cool thing is that everybody has their own theory. My theory is it's Ellie Kedward's. He was like stretched on the rack. But I mean, you can think whatever you want as long as it makes you like the movie. I mean, you can think it's the president. I don't.
Now, if you could please tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm an actor. I realized today, actually, earlier today, that I celebrated my 20 years in the business a few months ago,
Nice.
which is insane to me. Something that has like been in me for, since I was a kid. You know how like people always say it's like very stereotypical, but people always say, oh, their parents are like, oh, my kid always wanted to be on TV. My mom tells a story all the time about how I would like tell all of her friends that I was going to be on TV one day and all this stuff. And I think I just kind of always had like phases and such that would lend itself to performing. So acting is kind of who I am as a person, like as a whole. Like everything that embodies me as a person is something that's creative or performing or trying to get a laugh or trying to impress somebody in some way or so yeah, that's kind of who I am as a person.
That's great. And 20 years, congratulations. That's a good
Yeah,
milestone.
yeah,
So
it's pretty crazy. I mean, not all of those years have been great years, but it's pretty crazy.
I get it. I just hit my 20-year mark in the federal service this past December.
Congrats.
So I was like, holy shit, it's been 20 years already since the government. I've worked for the government. Wow.
Wow, yeah,
I was like,
congratulations.
yeah, I was like
It's a
since
weird
since
thing because
19. Yeah,
you feel kind of like you're like it feels cool to say that, but at the same time, you're like, holy crap, that's like a long time to do something, or just a long time to have been alive to be like, I've been doing this for this many years. You know what I mean? So, but in any event, I was feel lucky and blessed to be able to say that, I guess.
yeah. It's December 2003 is when I first entered this federal service.
Yep.
So I didn't realize until the human resources reached out to me and said, "Hey, we got your certificate. Where do you want us to mail it to?" I'm like, "What certificate?" He's like, "The 20 years of federal service." I'm like, holy shit, really?
Yeah. I want SAG to give me my some sort of like certificate or banner or something. Like, congratulations, you survived. So yeah.
So being an actor in this movie, which I'm going to say that I'm going to emphasize again, this fantastic movie of Blair Witch. How did your acting career start?
Um, I well, I finished school and then high school, which was going to age me a little bit, but like it's something that I never let go of, like through school. I was always doing plays or indie films or, making my own stuff. And I remember telling my mom, I was like, I want to move to Los Angeles and I want to live there and I want to give it a shot, see if I can, work on a professional job. I just want to work on one job and then I'll quit and I'll come back and I'll be happy. But it doesn't really work like that because I moved there and I think maybe like 4 or 5 months went by and I got a national commercial. And I thought I was like, man, I'm the coolest thing in the world. Like this is like there's no stopping me now. Then there was a little gap. And then I did this
Huh.
this show called American Dreams that Dick Clark produced. It was back in the day. It was on NBC. And I just kept kind of working after that enough to justify, staying there and living there. And it was obviously very expensive to live there, but I don't know. It just kind of it started there, and then I did a few films that weren't really huge successes by any means, and then mostly I did a lot of episodic television. Just like guest spots or co-star spots on different shows. And then Blair Witch happened, of course, in I think it was in 2015 when I was auditioning for, or 2014, probably 2014 actually. And that was like I always liken it to like climbing a hill and like finally getting to the top of the hill and being able to look at the view, right before it comes out. And then you slowly start to slide down the other side of the hill and you realize people don't love it as much as you wanted them to. But most people, not you, most people. But yeah, that's kind of how it all started. I guess I was ballsy and I went and I moved there and I was like, I'll give it a shot. And then it worked.
That's fantastic. I mean, I'm so glad. I mean, you played Land really well, by the way,
Thank you.
because that scene where you're with Talia, who's played by Valerie Curry, where you believe you lost all conscious at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that was very believable. I was like, holy shit, did that really happened? Because I'm the idiot who thought the Blair Witch was actually based on a true story when it came
Yeah,
when the
well, I
first.
mean, that's kind of, yeah, it was confusing because I mean, at the time when it came out, people thought it was a real like real footage and stuff until they realized that it wasn't. But so I can understand that.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm one of those morons who thought it was true. So I'm still kicking myself in the ass for believing that stuff because I thought it was actually true. Because I am a sucker for movies based on true events. I mean, I cannot get enough of those. But I do like how they made it look like it was based on true events. So it was just overall fantastic movie. You being part of the Blair Witch franchise, how does that make you feel?
Um, well, to put in some context to it, so I was pretty young, but I saw the original in the theater. I was doing this indie film at the time, and the director of that was like, "I want us to all," and I wasn't really particularly into horror yet. I'm a huge horror buff now, but like at the time, I wasn't really into it. So he was like, "I'm going to take us all out. We're going to go see this movie called The Blair Witch Project." He had already seen it, and so he kind of was like doing one of those like watching us watch it kind of deals the whole time. And so like I always think about how crazy life is because at the time, I had no idea sitting there that, flash forward so many years, I would be in the sequel to that film. But it's really exciting. And like I get to talk to Mike sometimes and we talk about, like each film, or he'll tell me that he liked our film. And he's always very nice to me. And like honestly, just to be involved in a film that Adam Wingard was a part of, and Simon Barrett and Keith and Jess Calder-Wu, and just Roy Lee, and like all these people, Steven Snyder, all these people that I looked up to and wanted to be in something with them, or something that they were attached to. Just to be able to be in something with them was pretty crazy. And obviously the property of Blair Witch, Blair Witch Project, was also just insane. So it's something that honestly I still haven't gotten completely over because I'm such a fan of it. Um, and I kind of sometimes forget. We were watching something the other day, and there was like a little one of those, you're like you go through the things, and it's on streaming, and so you stop, and then the scene starts to play. It almost seems like it's not me sometimes. It's been a few years now, so that's probably also doesn't help. But yeah, it's so cool.
Well, I get it, man. Because yesterday I was going through some stuff and I found some old high school photos of myself. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, what the hell happened? So I
Yeah,
get
it's
it. I didn't have the mustache and the beard and the 18-year-old face. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, I'm 45 now. You can
yeah.
tell I age a lot.
No, you don't look 45. No,
You're
it
the
was
first person to tell
pretty
me that.
cool.
People are like, "Damn, man, you're old." I'm like, "Gee, thanks, man. I appreciate it." So I'm trying to understand your character Lane, and what his personality is like. He's obsessed with the Blair Witch, obviously. He's
Yeah.
obsessed with the myth. But in your own words, can you describe his personality and the character?
Um, I guess I would say he's not the best at approach. Uh, just in terms of he could have handled things better with the way that he was trying to convince everyone. But I relate to him in a way of like I'm all about like things that are unknown and wanting to understand them, and so I feel like to an extent like I understand the measures that he went to or the lengths that he went to do that. But personality, I guess. Uh, I don't know. I think what was cool about him was, and it wasn't necessarily that I tried to do this, but I hope I did do this. I really wanted him to be like this person that you didn't like, but you kind of felt for at the same time. Those are always the most interesting characters to me. I always, I feel like I say that so much, but anytime I do something with the character that has like a bad trait or, a crazy character or whatever, I always try to inflict some sort of humanity or something to where it's like, the person's sort of redeemable or sort of likable no matter what they're doing. And I feel like, I kind of try to do that with him as well.
He kind of seemed like a dick too a little bit. I mean,
Oh, he was a dick. He was a dick. Peter was a dick too. Yeah, he's a dick
it's
for
like
sure.
it's the time that sticks up and hang up the trees. I'm like, oh man, that was a dick move, man. I'm sorry. The middle of the night, people freaking out. And they find the string. I forgot whose backpack they found the string. Was it yours or was it Talia's backpack?
It
They
was
found the
mine.
string.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's funny too because like he's so desperate for people to want to be out there and want to stay and I think his curiosity got the best of him. He's like, if I can get these people to stay for the night or whatever, we'll see if this thing's real. But yeah, he didn't have the best approach. That's for sure.
I get it, man. I mean, I'm obsessed with some shit too. Like, M. Night Shyamalan, most of his movies were filmed out here in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. So, I actually went to the house. Have you seen the movie The Visit? About the two
Yes.
kids going to visit their grandparents.
Yep.
I went to the house. There was like a 30 minute, it was like a 45-minute drive from where I live. And I drove onto the property and I didn't notice the no trespassing sign. So I
Oh,
drove
okay.
around and as I was turning around, the owner of the house was walking out with a shotgun. I was like, oh shit.
Oh, that's pretty good. But
He's
that's
like,
not the first time. That's
I know.
probably a few times, but
See, I rolled the window. I was like, "I'm sorry, sir. I'm not. I'm here. I'm here because I'm a fan of the movie and the director, and this is where they filmed the movie, The Visit. That's one of my hobbies. I like to go visit film locations,
yeah, I do
but
too.
it basically gets me in trouble sometimes. So it's
Yeah.
just he's like, "You got 30 seconds to get off my property." It's like, "You have to tell me twice, dude. I'm out of here, man. I'm so sorry." He's like, "I did not see the no trespassing sign." He's like, "Well, you're trespassing." I was like, "I am so sorry. I'm leaving right now immediately. I am so sorry." So I took a picture from the road, whatever. But yeah, that was kind of a bit of a scary guy. I didn't expect him to walk out with a shotgun. I was like, "Oh man, I hope it's not loaded because if it is, I'm screwed." So
Yeah. But see, like you're saying, like your curiosity got the best of you. I mean, that happens. I like to go to film sets too. I mean, locations.
I think one of the coolest ones is I went to the house where they filmed Amityville Horror. Not like the actual house in New York, but the house they filmed it is in Tom's River. So I went down there and I tried to get real close to the property too. And this guy is running the door like, "Get off my property." I was like, "Oh shit, I'm so sorry. I just want to take a picture of the house, man. I'm so sorry." But yeah,
I think they
I
would be
have
more
good
used
days
to
and good
that.
days.
Yeah. I
So
guess you're letting someone use your house. You're not really signing up for the visits. But I don't know. I think it's probably just because I'm an actor or whatever. But like I would kind of enjoy that to a degree. You know what I'm saying? I guess
in
you
the
never
house
have
where the
to show up though, to be fair. So
yeah, in the house where they filmed The Exorcist, I was in Washington D.C. for training. I was there for a week. I was like, it was on my list. I'm like, I'm definitely going to visit the set, the house where it was filmed at. So it was like an hour walk. It was just nuts because there's no public transportation in Georgetown whatsoever. So it was like an hour walk from the train station. And I get them taking pictures, blah blah blah. And I was like, I'm gonna knock on the door. Let's see if I can take pictures inside the house just for the hell of it, because that'd be really cool. So I knocked on the door, and the lady was nice enough to tell me, "No, we're not letting no one inside the house. You can't take pictures, but feel free to take pictures outside the house. I don't give a shit." Oh, that's cool. At least she was nice about it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, I digress. So you explain why why Lane's obsessed with trying to the hunt down the Blair Witch, and then why he's obsessed with the myth. So you and your girlfriend are in the woods with the groups with searching for Heather. I guess that's the whole main idea is
Yep.
we're looking for Heather. You and this group are all over the place, and then the shit starts hitting the fan.
Yeah.
So, were there any hardships you had to endure while filming this?
Um, yeah, I wish I could say yeah, because I feel like it would be way more of an entertaining answer, but honestly, no. I mean, there was some cold nights, some long days or long nights as well. But that's like pretty much the worst part of it. I think when we filmed the scene where we're crossing the creek, that was pretty miserable because that water was so cold and it was a cold day. And we shot that for a little while. So, in terms of comfort, maybe, but everything else was honestly a dream. Like pre-production, production, post-production, everything was pretty easy and perfect, honestly.
I want to know. I have to know when you guys are crossing the creek and the woman who's doing barefooted, she cuts her foot on the rock. Um, what was it that she pulled out of her leg? No one knows. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
I like to think it's like, and I don't know if I thought this at first myself because I don't know that anyone really knows. I mean, they never told us, but I think what I like to think it is like the symbol or the idol that we see in the trees kind of becoming her, if that makes sense. So it's like she's pulling out some of the remnants of something that you would see hanging in the tree. I think that's a cool concept.
Uh,
Yeah,
I'm gonna go back and watch the movie. Do like a frame by frame just to watch it
yeah,
now because I watched
yeah.
it again this morning just to get a just to refresh my memory. But now I'm gonna go back and watch it and do frame by frame and see what she actually pulls. It looks like it's some kind of parasite. So I
Yeah,
don't
it
know.
really is. I like to think it's some sort of like stick bug parasite tree creature. I don't know. I don't know. That's the cool thing about Blair Witch that everyone I've talked to about it, they all have their own theories. There's that whole sequence at the end with James when the lights flash through the window. Um, Everyone has their own theories on that as well as like what that was and what that was supposed to be or meant. And I always think that's kind of cool when people can just like make up their own minds and it's not necessarily like solidified what something is. It just like makes you wonder. And I think there's so many parts of this movie that still make people like, they're like, I have no idea what that is, but I'm trying to figure it out. You know what I mean?
Well, this whole franchise has been evolving what since 96, 97, and
Yeah, something like that. 99 maybe. I'm trying to remember. I think it's celebrating its 25 years this year, so that'll be 99, right?
yeah, 'cause I saw it in the theater too when it first came out. So it's evolved a lot, and there's been a plethora of fan theories about this whole franchise. Do you have any
Oh, yeah.
favorite theories?
There's an interesting one. I'm sure you've probably heard it, where people say that Mike and Josh were actually just kidnapping Heather and there was nothing going on. It was just all a conspiracy to kidnap this girl. I thought that was pretty interesting. And just in terms of like, watching it from a whole different perspective. I mean, it wouldn't necessarily make sense for a lot of the events, I guess. But yeah, it's an interesting perspective.
Now, have you seen Book of Shadows, the sequel to Blair Witch Project?
I have, yes.
I don't care what your opinion is, but or what they say. I'm sorry. They came out. I mean, that's not what I meant to say. I don't care what they say, but what's your opinion about this, about the Book of Shadows? And then you can say whatever you want. I mean,
I it's not it's I appreciated the effort. It's not my favorite. I don't want to say anything bad because I feel like I've been dealing with that for the last 8 years or whatever. But it's not my favorite.
it took me a long time to convince one of my friends that the Blair Witch is not true. It took
Oh,
me a
really?
very long time because he saw the Book of Shadows. He's like, "This stuff's for real, man." I mean, they show like behind the scenes, like at the bonus disc of like the locker scene. I'm like, dude, it's
Yeah.
all set up, man. It's none of this real. It's all fake. It's like, no, man, it's all real. I was like, if whatever blows your hair back, man, I don't care. Dude. I mean, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter what you think.
That's great. That's so funny.
But at the end of this one though, I think the monster's showing it. Yeah, like your theory about the guy who got stretched on the rock. But I think it's like it maybe is it actually the Blair Witch. I don't know. I mean,
Are you
but
talking about the end of
I'm
our film, 2016
yeah,
film?
yeah.
Are you talking
I
about the
mean,
creature again? Is that what we're talking about?
yeah, yeah.
I don't know if I said it on the podcast or before we started, but I like to think it's Ellie Kedward, like the girl that I'm talking about. If you remember in the campfire scene, I'm talking about this girl who's on a rack and they kept like stretching her. I like to think that's who it is.
Yeah, I'm just glad they showed something finally. I mean, that made the whole movie satisfying. It's like-
Yeah, I mean, and that's funny too, because so many people have different opinions on, if that was a good approach or not. But I feel like you have to do something different this time around. I mean,
yeah.
you can't, you can't veer too far off the path, but you need to do something different. And you think about like some of the story points that we have are kind of the same. So, I think doing little things like that, was just an attempt to please new people and old people alike, honestly.
So if you could flip the script, add anything or take anything away from the movie, what would it be?
Um, I think I would like to know maybe what exactly happened to Lane and Talia during that time a little more. It's probably more exciting that you don't know, honestly, but I feel like that would be an interesting thing to see. They probably were going to do that in a future installment had ours been, received better. I don't know that for sure, but yeah, I think that's so cool that like you can have these different timelines happening. You know what I'm saying? Like you have that, and then you have the timeline where you've got the Heather in the beginning of the film, or I'm sorry, what you think is Heather, it's actually Lisa, I guess, in a reflection. But they're playing with all these different things that all these things could be happening at the same time, but years apart. You know what I'm saying? And I always think that's really cool. But I would see
I'm sorry.
More Lane all day, every day.
Talia's kill scene, Jesus Christ, that made me cringe so bad.
Yeah,
I
it's a good
mean,
one. It's my
watching her
favorite
body
movie.
go, I was like, oh man,
Yeah,
it's like, I mean, the writers did her good, man. I'm sorry, but it's a shitty way to die. I mean, not even
yeah,
for me. I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy. I mean,
yeah. That was,
oh
and that's,
God,
I don't know if you know this, but everything in the movie, with the exception of like a couple small shots, and I think that was mostly just like set dressing and stuff, like paths cleaned and stuff. Everything was practical. So that effect was a practical effect of the stunt person and her, and just laying in the ground and like clever angles, etc. But yeah, that was all done practically.
so whatever. Okay, I do want to know what happened to Lane. I really do. I mean, he just fell off the face of the earth. So, and I'm sure you know what's happening with Lane. I'm sure you know, and I'm
Oh no,
100% sure
shit.
you can, and I'm 100% sure that you can't say anything either. So, and you got to bite your tongue. I get it. So, this is one of my favorite questions I like to ask everyone I interview. If you could portray anyone else in the movie, who would it be?
Honestly, and this is not against any of the other characters because I love all of them, but honestly, I wouldn't. I guess if you made me pick someone, I would, but like every time I get a script or something, or and I read it, I'm like, I always like. Typically, I like pick out a couple roles. I'm like, oh, I'd like to play that, or I'd like to play that. Lane was like, and of course, at the time, I didn't know it was Blair Witch, but when I first got the audition and stuff and the script, I was like, this is the character I want to play. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. I feel like it's not because it's me, honestly. I just feel like there's a lot of interesting stuff to do with him. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I don't think I would change.
That's awesome because I think Lane is one of the best characters in the movie, no, hands down. I
Thank
mean,
you.
the dude had me convinced, man. But I would hate to be in his shoes, man. To that entire movie
And he tried
is
really hard to convince everybody, and then kind of became a little bit of a chicken when he was getting pushed out of the group. But I don't know. We had fun with that. Brandon and I did.
oh my God. I mean, going from being obsessed to not knowing what time of day it is, not seeing the sun for like 3 days. I mean, Jesus
Yeah,
Christ, I would not want to be in his shoes. I mean,
yeah. You
that's gonna
see
be
him
like
at
the
the end, and
worst.
he's got that full beard and everything, and all that blood. I know, yeah, it was funny too because I had so much fake blood on me during shooting that. We'd wrap for the day, and I'd go to our hotel, and I would like take a shower, and there would just be just red stains everywhere, and then on my pillow, like you know how like you like scrub stuff, and it will always come off on the first go around. So on my pillow there was this red streaks, and I was thinking, I wonder if the people here at the hotel know that we're shooting a movie. I wonder if they think I killed someone.
Just don't just change the seat yourself, man. It's like don't,
Bring extra
don't
horror.
ask
Yeah.
don't ask for room service or nothing. Just do
Yeah.
your own. So besides this rendition of the Blair Witch, and we were expressed to each other that we do not like Book of Shadows. So do you like
I didn't say that.
we said it wasn't your favorite, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. I'm just
but
kidding.
I
I'm just
don't
kidding.
like it. Besides this one, do you actually like the first one that first came out in the 90s?
I do. I love it. I love it. It's funny because I liked it when I saw it. I felt a little bit like duped when I saw it because I was like, man, I thought that was real. Um, but I just watched it. I watched it again with my girlfriend not too long ago, and she had never seen it, and she talked about it for like 3 days, and I was like, that's what I so desperately wanted Blair Witch to do. I want to be involved in something that has that kind of impact where it just stays with people for like 3 days. And she just kept being like, like these people that are in this movie, they did such a good job. Like I really thought I was watching something that was real. And I'm like, yeah, that was kind of the reason. I mean, you think about what a huge phenomenon it became, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the scare factor was good, but in this version 2016, legitimately had me on the edge of my seat. I'm sitting thinking, what's going to happen next? And what
Yeah.
am I going to scream like a little girl? Am I going to be okay? I'm just
Yeah.
wondering here.
I know it gets a
Like,
little crazy there at the end. It's just relentless at the end. I remember when we first watched it as a cast. I looked over at James Allen McCune, who plays James in the movie, and we just kind of looked at each other and we're like, "Holy shit! Like this is fun!" And we had so much fun. I mean, we had so much fun making it and then watching it, and we were so excited for everyone to see it. We wanted, I mean, all of us as a cast and as a crew, but like especially like a few of us in the cast, we really wanted it to be something that the fans would like, and also something that would please the people that liked the other one.
dude, I mean, now I know I'm not going to answer that question. Never mind. I'll scratch that one. So, do you have other projects coming on? Do you have other projects coming up?
Yeah, man.
Um,
Um,
so
so
tell us all about it.
So these last couple years, I've been dabbling a tiny bit with producing, which is fun. I do a little bit of digital producing. I'm getting to be hands on with things a little bit more, which is nice. And what's cool is, especially with the projects I've been a part of, I feel like it's very collaborative. It's very like open, and everybody respects everyone. So it's like not that Blair wasn't that experience, but I just mean it's really nice when you get that and you get to feel like you're really a part of not only like your performance, but like the film or whatever it is as a whole. So Elsie Holt, who I did a film with previous to this movie I'm telling you about, he was in You're Next, which Adam Wingard also directed, and Simon Barrett also wrote. The writer director Blair Witch also wrote that film that he's in, which is kind of a crazy coincidence. But he did a film called Watchdog. He wrote it, and when we were shooting this other film, he was like, "Will you read the script and will you be a part of this as this role?" And I was like, "Absolutely." So I did Watchdog, and then because of this other film, Phantom Fun World, we had grown these relationships with other people. So I started working with these other people. We just finished. We're almost a picture lock, I think, on this film called House Among the Trees. It's like a crime thriller horror, a little hybrid of all these different things. It's really fun. And that should be out hopefully by the end of the year or early next year. And then Watchdog, like I said, should be out as well. It's like a thriller home invasion, reverse home invasion movie, kind of. And I think it's just still searching for distribution, but hopefully we'll finish that up soon. But yeah, things are going well. I'm just having fun and enjoying it again. I mean, it's one of those things where sometimes you can kind of get a little fatigued by it all, just in terms of the hustle of it and trying to make things work and trying to make sure you're working yourself, and like it's been really fun lately.
Sounds like it, man. You can totally get your hands full. And Elsie Holt is a cool dude. I talked to him about a year ago about his role in the movie You're Next, and he seems like a really cool guy to be in any film. I mean, he's just like
He's
super chill. So
he is. He's, you know, it's an interesting thing about him is he's not only like a great actor, but he's a great director. He directed Watchdog. He also wrote it, and the script was amazing. But he's the director that you want. You show up, and he knows what he wants. He has his shot list. He knows, you know, everything down to a T that he needs. He knows what he doesn't. And it was the first film that I've been on that wasn't, you know, it was particularly pretty low budget. This film. I've been on films that were obviously not low budget like that, and this set ran better than those did. And so I just think that's a huge testament to him as, you know, his preparedness and him as a person. And yeah, I love Elsie.
fantastic. So I'm definitely gonna post that in my description of this interview. I mean, God damn it, dude. I'm hoping to see you in another movie that has to do with Blair Witch. I really do. I mean, that'd be fantastic.
That'd
I
be
want to know
cool.
what happened. I want to know what happens to Lane. I really do. I mean, like I said, he just fell off the face of the earth. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot of unanswered questions with that franchise, and I'm sure the fans are probably going apeshit right now, just trying to figure out what's going on. So, for those who have not seen Blair Witch 2016, get off your asses, start streaming that shit right now because it
Yeah.
is a really, really good movie.
Thanks,
And
man.
I, for me, it blew my mind because I'm a very hard person to impress when it comes to horror movies. I've been told that by so many people, but this one really had me impressed because the acting was good, the scare factors were great, everything was just authentic and genuine. So I give it
Thanks,
like a
man.
4.9 out of 5. I mean, seriously, it's a really good movie.
I'll send you your money here soon for all that work.
Well, it's been great talking to you, Wes. You've been a fantastic guest,
Thanks, man.
and I hope to see you in a lot more movies. I'll definitely keep an eye out for Watchdog, and I'll tell all my friends about it too. You know, hey, keep your eyes and ears open for some cool shit that's coming in the theater soon. So
Thanks, man.
I wish you nothing but the best in your career, and yeah, it's been fantastic.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
And I will see you on the big screen.
I hope so.
All right, take care.
Thanks, buddy.